Hey, cousin. Welcome to my podcast, The Liberal Black. I am your host, Mr. Cleo. The Liberal Black is unapologetically a podcast for black folks from all walks of life. But it is also a place for allies, too. Y'all are invited to the barbecue. It's a variety type show, a podcast, where we can be serious and deep thinking in one episode or laughing to release some tension in another. I hope this can be a place for us to be entertained and maybe we can be inspired along the way. Now, some episodes may feature a guest or expert, while others, I'm riding solo. Now join me, fam, for what is sure to be a fantastic voyage. I am Mr. Cleo, and you are listening to The Liberal Black. I kind of gave you a really long podcast last time talking about Black in the News, and I was all ready to have me a good weekend, of course, thinking about what other episodes I'm going to do coming up and what guests to interview for the podcast. I'm doing this when I'm sitting on my lunch break and all this news is coming through, and there was just some things I had to talk about, and I just couldn't let the weekend go without talking about it. And because I like to talk, so y'all help me get my talking out doing this way. So you are really sparing someone in my personal life, not having to endure me going on and on and on about stuff. Okay. So thank you, and hopefully, once again, hopefully you are entertained, and you're getting something interesting out of this. Maybe what's that? I'm about to say, what's that slogan from one of those news services? But I probably shouldn't do that because I don't want to get shut down for. I don't guess you can copyright a slogan, but you know what I'm saying. So today, I'm drinking my little rosé out of a coffee mug, a tea mug. Here, it's so pretty. Red's my favorite color, and this mug is red, but it has a lot of. For those of you who are listening to the podcast tonight, the mug is red and has like flowers on it and like scalloped flowers inside the mug. Can y'all see that? YouTube folks, yeah. So it's really cute. Anyway, but that's not what we're here to talk about. So, like I said, I was ready to just tend to my own business, but so much interesting stuff is happening. Okay. But anyway, so one of the first things I wanted to talk about is the Wonder Years. Now, you guys remember the Wonder Years with Fred Savage. Those of you of a certain age do anyway. Well, that was a really cool show about a coming of age, about this young boy, this white boy and his family, middle class family. Well, they're going to do a reboot of that show with a black family. Apparently, Fred Savage, who starred in the original, is going to be one of the producers on it. Lee Daniels is producing it. I'm sure there's probably some other people who are going to be involved in it. I got some notes here, on it. So that's really interesting. I think that's cool. I was looking at social media posts about it, and some people were like, "Oh, damn, leave it alone. Leave it alone. Why can't y'all just leave it alone?" That was a great show. But my thing is this: it's going to be a reboot. Like it's not going to be whatever the character, Fred Savage's character was, the little boy, it's not going to be a black boy playing him. It's going to be a Wonder Years from a different perspective, right? That's what it's going to be. My hand went to the camera, and I was like, "Is my hand ashy?" Because my hands stay ashy, and I try to, if y'all know some really excellent recommendations for lotions, hit me up on Instagram, let me know. Hit me in the messages, let me know. But anyway, so that's really cool. So I don't think people. I think people should quit hating on this idea. You know, it's a good idea. Okay, and the next thing that's interesting. So you know, originally Batwoman was being played by Ruby Rose, right, on the CW. Now I'm not necessarily a comic book aficionado, but I am someone who loves superheroes shows and movies since I was a little kid. I mean, I used to love me some Wonder Woman. And who played Wonder Woman? What was her? All her name is escaping me right now. Of course, she was a brunette. Linda Carter. Linda Carter. I loved Linda Carter as Wonder Woman. I used to run around my grandma's yard pretending that I was Wonder Woman, and I would be flying. You know, because Wonder Woman has a invisible plane, and so I would be running through my grandma's yard like I was flying an invisible plane, using some old burlappy rope to pretend it was my lasso of truth. Oh yeah, I lived for Wonder Woman, and of course I liked all the other superheroes too, right? And I remember when this show came out with Ruby Rose, this version of Batwoman with Ruby Rose. I didn't get into it myself personally. I didn't. It didn't do nothing for me, so I didn't really watch it. But so Ruby Rose now is not going to do the show anymore. Apparently, rumor has it the hours was too long. She was having to work too much. But that's what this is what Yahoo News is reporting in this particular article. Of course, that don't mean that's the truth. It could just be that she got a better gig or something. But that was one of the reasons. But they were saying is because of the hours. But anywho, so they are revamping the show, I guess, with I don't know, I say I guess because I don't know if revamping is the right word to use here. But they are continuing with the show of Batwoman with a black actress by the name of Javicia Leslie. And she will be the first black actress to play the role. She's, we still in 2020 having first black this and first black that. I mean, that's just how it is. It's going to continue to be that way for a while. It's just how it is. So congratulations to Javicia. I haven't even read what people are saying about that in terms of like who's hating on it, who got something to say negative about Javicia playing this part. Her name may be Javisha. So forgive me if I'm mispronouncing your name, Ms. Leslie. But Javicia, who knows who's hating on Javicia for playing this part? But you know what, Javicia, you do you, girl. Now, Come On Man news. So, this is from BET.com, but it's really from everywhere. Terry Crews. Terry Crews went viral because he made some tweets. And one of his tweets from June 30th said, "If you're a child of God, you are my brother and sister." What's wrong with that? Nothing's wrong with that. That's fine, right? That's good. If he said that's a good thing to say. The tweet continues. "I have family of every race, creed, and ideology." Well, me too, Terry. Me too. I have family of every race, creed, and ideology as well. I'm sure y'all do too. Then Terry goes on to say, or type, "We must ensure hashtag Black Lives Matter doesn't morph into Black Lives Better." Bitch, what? What? What you talking about, Terry? Or as Gary Coleman would say, what you talking about, Terry? I mean, Terry, what are you talking about? Does it morph into Black Lives Better? If we was not on this, I'd be saying something else. I'd be saying somewhere along the lines of Negro, please. I mean, he goes on to say, where is it? Because he said something about black supremacy. Okay, where is that? Defeating white supremacy. This is from June 7th. Defeating white supremacy without white people creates black supremacy. Equality is the truth. Like it or not, we are all in this together. You got to have power you have to be in a place of power to discriminate against somebody. But anyway, so Terry Crews went on to, Don Lemon, So apparently, even Don Lemon got on him. They had an interview. Of course, a black Twitter was dragging Terry for his crazy comments. My thing is this, okay? You cannot make a polemical statement like that, because I'm going to try to give Mr. Crews the benefit of the doubt, because he has to be somewhat of an intelligent man to be so consistently successful in his life, right? Give him the benefit of the doubt. He has navigated Hollywood. He has navigated, his life to a certain level of success. So he can't be a total idiot. We can't totally just dismiss him, right? So my thing is, you don't put such a polemical statement on Twitter when you can't fully explain yourself. Saying something crazy like that, he needs to write a whole paper so he can explain and give us all the different points and the bullets to help cover all the areas, because honey, no ma'am, Pam, no, that did not work. I just needed him to go into more detail. To say that to do it without white people is to promote black supremacy. I need to know more what you're talking about. There is not let's face it, in this quest to figure out this racial thing, the racial discrimination thing, there are some spaces. Now follow the bouncing ball with me, okay? There are some spaces where black people don't need white people in that space as they work through their shit, okay? There are some spaces like that. There are some spaces where white people don't need nobody else in the room but white people, so you can work on your stuff and how you benefited from white supremacy, what are the benefits of your white privilege, all of that stuff, and bring each other to the carpet with each other. And then there is time for us to come together as groups, all of us who are involved in the conversation. But there is time and space for people to be separate in their gathering of their thoughts and figuring out their roles or lack of roles in the situation and how to solve the situation. So, Mr. Crews, God bless you, man. God bless you. Now, something else that I had to talk about is the death of Sha'Asia Washington. She was a pregnant 26-year-old black woman from Brooklyn, if I'm not mistaken. And just this past week, she passed away while delivering her baby. And Rolling Stone is reporting on this. Well, a lot of outlets are reporting on this, but my source that I'm referring to is Rolling Stone. And this young woman went to the Woodhull Medical Center in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn, right? And they induced labor on her. So the next thing you know, the baby's heart, I guess, is in jeopardy. The heart rate is dropping. They perform a C-section. The baby is fine, but the mother is dead. So the article is talking about the what am I trying to say? The rate at which women of color, and my thing is this, I want to know, the article said women of color, but are you really saying black people? Can we stop this right now? Now, Effie, we all got pain. And there are a lot of issues that we in America and worldwide that we got to cover, especially as it relates to race. But what I do not want us to do is to lump issues when they're disproportionately affecting black people into this is a people of color thing. Like, people of color are disproportionately da-da-da-da-da-da. No, girl, is it black people? Or is it people of color? You know, call it. What is they call a spade a spade? You know what I'm talking about now. Watch it. The same thing now with all this stuff happening with calling people to task for their racism in the various industries and in the workplace and this, that, and the third. And we're starting to get on this BIPOC, or is it BIPOC? What is it? BIPOC. Black, indigenous, people of color. When you talk about police brutality, okay, let me calm down. When we talk about police violence and murder of black people, please say that. Please don't give me, well, the disproportionate deaths of people of color at the hands of police. Stop, pause, no. Black people. Please call it what it is. Okay? But let me get back on topic here. So apparently, in this article, the young woman felt pressured into having an epidural, and according to this person, to Williams, I believe Williams is a relative of hers. Feels like she was pressured into taking the epidural, and that caused her death. The improper administration of it. And so they're saying there's possible complications of her death were from anesthesia, such as epidurals. Of course, we don't know all the details. We don't know all the details of what's going on. Apparently, like I said, the young baby that was born is a girl. Her name is Chloe. They would not give Chloe to her father at first. They wanted him to take a DNA test. Can you imagine that dad just mourning his wife, and now they're saying, or his partner, I don't know if they were married or not, but mourning her, and now they won't let him take his baby home? But fortunately, the grandmother of little Chloe, got the baby. She gave it to the man, and the man took the baby home. The hospital, of course, said that, they gave the stock answer of, we regret, blah, blah, blah. We can't say nothing, blah, blah, blah. Privacy, blah, blah, blah. So, of course, that's all happening there. And it might be very well legit, but the family wants answers, and they should get them. I'm sorry, I'm kind of thinking about recently how the young man in California who hung himself, they're saying, in the tree. That's what the records are showing, that he hung himself, they're saying. I'm sorry. Okay, they did say that man had mental illness. So these are some things that could be making this case more, I guess, because it's unusual. It's unusual for a black person to hang themselves in a tree. That is unusual. It's odd. I mean, suicide is odd, period, but mm-mm. And so anyway, they're saying that the man in California had a history of mental illness. He had some scars on his arm from trying to kill himself. I watched the news report. I'm sorry, I can't remember the guy's name right now because this is just, I wasn't planning on talking about him, but this kind of brought it to me. And they're saying that it was a climbable tree and he didn't try to, like pull at his neck or anything like that. I'm like, what does that mean that he didn't try to pull at his neck? Like, I mean, okay, but follow me, okay? When you are choking, your body goes into survival mode, right? You can't even control what your body does when your body is trying to survive. Your body just does what it do. So you can't be like, I'm keeping my hand to the side. I'm trying to kill myself. I'm keeping my hand to my side. I don't believe that. You can't even. So when they say there was no signs of him trying to remove it, I don't even know how that's remove the noose around his neck. I don't understand how that is a factor in saying someone didn't try to kill themselves when I don't understand it, because to me it's humanly impossible to do that. Because I tell you, one time I went swimming in Mexico in this cave and going spelunking, and I'm an okay swimmer, and I had put my face down in that water, and I breathed in through the little tube thing, and the water came. I opened my mouth too wide, and the water came in, and I started choking. And then I was like, I'm choking. Fortunately, I was by myself because I let everybody else go on without me because I didn't want to be embarrassed because I knew something crazy might happen. So I'm by myself. I'm like, I'm choking, and then my body went into like, oh my God, we're dying. So I started to hyperventilate. But my mind was like, Cleo, we're okay, it's okay, just calm down. But my body was, I was like really, really, really like hyperventilating. So my brain was like, okay, swim over to, there was a big boulder in the middle of the cave. I swim over to the cave and I held on to the boulder for dear life until I could convince my body. That's when I realized that there is sometimes your body and your mind can disconnect. And your mind can be telling your body to do one thing, and your body is in a whole nother place. So, I say all that to say, I don't see it. I still don't see it. And now, and as I was watching it, y'all can call me a conspiracy theorist on that one. You can call me Area 52, 54, whatever that area is, where the people say the aliens be landing in Arizona or New Mexico, wherever it is. You can call me one of them people when it comes to black men hanging themselves in trees, bitch. I don't believe it. And y'all, and I've said this before on my Facebook page, you find me in a tree, bitch, somebody put me there. I don't give a fuck if there's a letter in my handwriting. I ain't do it. I don't care. Something's up. I don't believe it. It's happening in twos and threes, and girl. But we praying for Sha'Asia, and I hope they get to the truth of the matter, what's going on with her and her family, and what happened to her and her death. Something else that I found that I thought was pretty interesting. There's an article from CNN titled "Why Black Christians Are Bracing for a Whitelash." Why Black Christians are bracing for a Whitelash. And essentially, the article is talking about how Black Christians are fearing that, and listen, I don't even think that it should be just Black Christians. They're fearing that white Christians will, and I want to say, I don't think it's just a fear or a concern you should have about just white Christians, just white people in general. I'm concerned about having this reaction, the Whitelash, they're calling it. And what do we mean by whitelash? Whitelash is, bitch, I'm tired of talking about race. I'm exhausted by this. I'm over this. Yes, y'all are dying. Yes, there are problems, but I just want to go back to watching my soap operas. I want to go back to put my head in the sand. I want to go back to life as I know it. I need to deal with COVID. I need to deal with, I don't want to wear a mask, and people are trying to take away my rights because they're trying to force me to wear a mask, and I don't want to do that because the next thing you know, it's going to be the mark of the beast. All that kind of crazy stuff. They want to focus on that stuff. They're going to be tired of talking about race. And so there's a concern about that, which means, of course, when we quit talking about race, what's going to happen? We're going to go right back to the same old that where we used to be. Now, the article had a lot of interesting points in it, but one of the things I want to look at here that we all know about, most of us, I'm sure, already know. Church time is one of the most segregated times in America. That's so interesting, right? How is it that worshiping God that loves everyone, we say, but that is the most segregated time that we don't come together. We don't come together during that time. What you say? What you say? I can't hear you. What you say? Oh, okay. They say in this article, more than 6 in 10 black Christians say it's important for sermons to address topics like racial relations and immigration in sermons. I'm here for it. I'm here for that. But what do you think our white counterparts say? Let's see. What does it say? White Christians did not agree. More than 6 in 10 said those topics are not essential for a pastor to examine, with 40% insisting that race and immigration should not be mentioned in church at all. 40%. Don't bring that mess up, Pastor. We're not trying to hear it. Tell us how good he is and how he will comfort us in our times of need and how he gonna bless me for giving my tithes. Tell me how good I am for waking up this morning and coming to church. Tell me how no matter how evil I was all week, I'm good because I came to church today. Please tell me. And don't talk about that race stuff. Anybody got time for that? That's what they saying. I'm kind of putting my own words on it, but you know what I'm saying. What does that say? Will people go, will we ever stop having these race problems? I was talking to someone about that. I'm like, oh, honey, no, we won't. We won't ever stop having these problems because people, it's exhausting to do this work. Because, you know how I know it's exhausting to do the work? Because it's exhausting to live it. Now, that doesn't mean that we don't have, black people, we are joyous. We find joy, we find humor, we find entertainment. We do all that. But we have learned to compartmentalize in order to survive and thrive. But when it comes time for that race work, oh, honey, it's exhausting, especially when you're talking with people who don't get it, who don't want to get it. I'm trying to keep this video short. You're not going to get me. You're trying to make me make the video long, aren't you? I see you. You're trying to make this podcast long, but I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. As recently as last summer, only 35% of white Christians said they were motivated to address racial injustice. And less than 2 in 5 believed it was a problem. Now, of course, that's a poll from 2019. I'm sure a lot of people are enlightened now that we're in 2020 and you saw a video of a policeman knee on a black man's neck for 8 minutes. Maybe that did it. I know for some of y'all still didn't do it because we saw some of the memes y'all was posting. The memes you were posting. Grown ass people. Grown ass white people mimicking the death of George Floyd. I even saw a video, a meme it wasn't a meme, but it was just a picture with apparently a young black boy who'd been adopted by a white family, and the white boy, the adopted brother, had his knee on that black boy's neck. I was like, you see, that's a topic for another day. But yeah, we got a ways to go. Speaking of ways to go, yeah, I said it, ways to go. So, blues singer Lady A. No, apparently this is everywhere because I think I mentioned this a couple of episodes ago where I was talking about, Lady Antebellum and the Dixie Chicks changing their name. Dixie Chicks changed their name to the Chicks, and Lady Antebellum changed her name to Lady A. Well, apparently there was already somebody by the name of Anita White who spent decades as a blues singer. Anita's in her 60s. Has spent decades as a blues singer performing under the name Lady A. Well, of course, she's like, don't y'all can't be Lady A. Well, apparently, some years ago, Lady Antebellum, copyrighted the name, trademarked the name, Lady A. Now, in their graciousness, they wanted to meet with her and work out a way that they could share the name. Girl, how you gonna share the name, sis? How you gonna share the name, sis? Now, I know I'm gonna give Lady Antebellum the benefit of the doubt. But sis, how you gonna share the name? And people not get confused. What you gonna do on iTunes? Lady A2, Lady A1? No. So anyway, Miss Anita, like we say in Texas, Miss Anita, she and her lawyer told them, okay, we can share or do whatever, but you got to pay me $10 million. And of course, Lady Antebellum clutched their pearls, honey. They clutched their pearls. They said, no, man, we're not doing that. We're not paying that. And here we go. They left the little, what do you call it when you're trying not to, mediation. They left mediation and they go into court on it, I guess. Legally speaking, Lady Antebellum, they won. Like right now, to me. Because they filed the trademark already. Morally speaking, they're not right. They're not right. For decades, this woman has done this. My best friend texted me about this, and he was like, "See, you gotta handle your business. You gotta handle your business and trademark your stuff because you just never know what's gonna happen." And I'm not gonna get further into that, okay? Because I'm not gonna let y'all get me and make this video long because I know what you're trying to do. Make this podcast long. Okay, so a couple of fun things before we sign off here, because I'm about done with the news. Guess who has the most Twitter followers? Guess who has the most Twitterer followers? Am I saying Twitterer? Child, I might as well say the Facebook as well. I'm getting so old. Okay. The person who has the most Twitter followers is your president and mine. No, we ain't talking about 45. We talking about 44. President Barack Hussein Obama. That's what we talking about. He got the most Twitter followers. at 119 million at the time of my looking at it. Gone, President. Get it. So, another quick thing. Apparently, there's a gym in California who has developed their own personal pods for people in the gym. So basically, you can take a class, but like a exercise class, but you're in your own closed plastic sheeting thing they put up. That's interesting. I mean, we living in a weird ass time right now. We really are. I mean, this one is for the books, honey. This one is for the books. But finally, I hope people are going to speak this into existence. Y'all, grab hands. Have a moment of silence for this piece of news, and let's hope this happens. So, many different places are reporting, that all the fans are urging Quentin Tarantino to do Kill Bill 3, right? We want to Kill Bill 3. Of course, we're talking about doing it with the little girl who saw her mama get killed, when BB killed Vivica Fox's character, something Green was the character's name. But anyway, when her mama got killed, the little girl was standing there watching it, and Uma Thurman's character said, well, when you get older, you want to come back and find me, if you're still sore about it, we can do this. And so it's been, how long has it been? It's been over 10 years now. And I guess the little girl, her name was Ambrosia Kelly. Hey, Ambrosia Kelly. She was the original actress, and they asked Vivica Fox in some interview somewhere, so Vivica, who should play the little girl that we saw in the movie, Vivica was like, well, of course it should be Ambrosia Kelly if she wants to do it, but if she doesn't want to do it, it should be Zendaya. Or is it Zendaya? I think it's Zendaya. It should be her. So, I don't care. I really don't care who it is. Just do it. Do it, Quentin. Quentin Tarantino is problematic. Don't get me wrong. He is problematic in some ways. He likes the use of the N-word way too much. He puts his writing, his dialogue puts the N-word in people's mouths, and sometimes the wrong people's mouths way too much. And I'm not even talking about in Django Unchained. I'm talking about that. But anywho, but otherwise, I live for him. I'm here for Quentin in terms of his filmmaking style and things like that. So hey, let's have our fingers crossed for that we're gonna get, a Kill Bill 3. Well, that is all for today, tonight, the morning, wherever you are, whatever time you're watching this. Thank you or listening to this. Forgive me if I'm talking to the camera and talking to the podcast listeners at the same time. I appreciate my listeners, of course, because without you, there would be no you. So, thank you so much for listening to The Liberal Black, and good night. Hey, fam. I am so thankful you've chosen to listen to the Liberal Black Podcast. If this is your first time, welcome to the family. And if you're a repeat offender, good to see you back, cousin. Head on over to www.theliberalblack.com for more information. You can download this podcast on Anchor, Spotify, YouTube, and Google Podcasts. Also, check us out on Twitter and Instagram. Remember, I am Mr. Cleo, and this is the Liberal Black Podcast. Be encouraged, y'all.